Hello, and welcome to Phoenix Shogi. If you've seen our other videos, you should have a basic idea on how to start a Shogi game. But what about ending a Shogi game? All great things eventually end. And like all great things, a Shogi game will go on forever until someone wins. There are no stalemates in Shogi, no draws by agreement. Win or admit defeat. Or draw by repetition, or impasse. Technically, they're... Everyone's favorite part of Shogi is the endgame. There is a saying that speed is the only thing that matters in endgame, which is to say that as long as you can mate your opponent one move faster than they can mate you, you win. Conversely, even if you have captured a mountain of material, if you don't have time to use it, you lose. To that end, when you attack, you should be trying to mate as quickly as possible, even if you have to sacrifice a strong piece. If you're defending, the goal should be to slow the enemy attack down enough to let you finish first. Let's see some examples. Here we have a mating race in action. Sente will need 1, 2, 3 turns in order to mate Gote's king, but Gote will only need 1, 2. So it seems like Sente will lose. However, at this moment, Sente can use this pawn in hand to block Gote's dragon, buying a lot of time. In turn, Gote can capture this silver and add it to their castle, buying them more time. Now the winner of this race is a little bit less clear. Defensive pawn drops like this one come up a lot in endgames like this. So one way to buy time is with a defensive drop. But what about an offensive drop? Let's take a look at this position. You might be nervous in such a position and really want to drop your rook on the board to give a check. But there is a proverb in Shogi, "Ote wa ote," to check is to chase. If we play such a move, the king will escape into a nice cozy space between his generals. And now our own king will be in grave danger. Returning to this position, if we look carefully, Gote has no way to mate us on this move. So if we can surround the enemy king and trap it in a nice mating net, we can win before Gote has a chance. Can you find it? If you were thinking gold 7-2, you'd be correct. This is a classic hishi, or brinkmate position. The word hishi uses the characters for certain death, or sometimes certain defeat, and describes a position where mate is inescapable and indefensible. If Gote defends on their left, we can drop on the right. And if Gote drops on their right, we can drop on their left. Don't get too comfortable in such a position though. Despite the name, hishi can be defeated if there is tsume, or if our footholds can be captured through an attack on our king. And even though we have hishi, Gote might test us with a move like this. And here, we have a critical choice. Do we move the silver down, or do we drop a piece to defend? Well, if you move the silver, you'll actually lose. Gote has a clever Yose, an endgame tactic, known as an okuri no tesuji, ascending technique. This gold drop, we have no way to run. We have to capture it. But then Gote's dragon will close in. And there is no way to survive against Ikkenryu, a square gap dragon. If we drop this gold here, gold is now pinned to our king. And so Gote can come in with this silver. We can't take the silver with the gold because of the pin, and we can't take it with the king because it's defended by the dragon. If you can master techniques like this, he will surely become a strong player in the endgame. Returning to this position, the answer here is to drop the silver. After all, the only piece we need for mate is the rook, and we're in endgame. There's no need to save up our pieces. And now we're free of any shenanigans. If Gote tries to drop the gold now, we can capture it with no problems. Here's one final example, courtesy of the Nihon Shogi Renmei, the Japan Shogi Association, or JSA. The full lecture linked below. In this position, if we do nothing, our king will be mated in one move. Thus, this position is tsumero, a threat mate, but not hishi. There are a couple ways to avoid it, such as pushing this pawn. But there is only one best way, which is with a threat mate removing threat mate. Do you see it? It's a little tricky, but the bishop drop here both defends against the mate by guarding this key square and creates a threat mate of our own. If Gote dives in now, we get two generals for our one bishop, and now we have plenty of room to run away. We're in no danger at all. If Gote were to do nothing in this position, we have a very cool move, where we take this gold, and if Gote recaptures our horse, we can mate with a gold to the head. So that's a mix of some basic and advanced endgame concepts. If your head is spinning a bit, I'd recommend checking out Ending Attack at a Glance, which covers everything I talked about and more using a series of problems that gets progressively more difficult. Hidechi also has a great video on speed in the endgame called How to Play Shogi Lesson 32, Speed Calculation and Z. I'll put links to both in the description. Now get out there and end some games. Peace.